mentioned IT runs in 2 layers. Okay. One is your front layer,
Okay.
front end layer, and back end layer.
Okay.
Sometimes there will be middle layer, but anyways, that is when we get into too deep into the system, you'll understand the middle layer. But yeah, for a layman, so we'll have 2 layers. One is front end, another is back end. Okay. So
Okay.
front end, you'll have ERP systems like SAP systems, where this
Mhm.
finance teams use for punching in invoices, generating purchase requests, and all that. Yeah. Or you may have .NET or Java application for customer form registrations, or stock maintenance, or anything, right? .NET we'll simply call web applications,
Okay.
right? So these are things for running your business day to day, right? Managing your front end activities. Now, what happens at the end of the day? You ran your business, you made you delivered all your orders, or you sold the items. Then what happens at the end of the day? You need to analyze the data. You need to collect the data and make use of it, make some use of it, so that you can do your business better tomorrow, right?
Mhm.
So for that, we'll have RDBMS. RDBMS systems. So these systems are called RDBMS systems because they are relational in nature. You see, now I may not be going very detail into these terms. Okay, so you
Sure.
can Google these terms and understand them better. Okay, so I'll be giving only little,
Mhm.
short idea of things. So relational database management systems. These are the systems. These are the uh, um guidelines, kind of, protocols that one should follow in order to create a database. So Microsoft SQL Server is one such RDBMS.
Okay.
Okay, so it's simply called database. Oracle or Teradata. We have so many flavors of this RDBMS. Okay, so many vendors provide these database systems. Now this is database system. So here all the data gets collected. Even ERP system data at the back end. Okay, only ERP system can understand. Like if you have a SAP, you might have heard about SAP, right?
Sure. Of
So
course.
where a huge, yeah, yeah. So only those systems can understand. But again, from the back end, you want to make some reports, you want to analyze the data. Then again, you have to pull that data and put it into any relational database management system. Okay. Now, once you do that, then you can go and do analytics.
Okay.
Yeah. Now people call it as analytics. 6, 7 years back, they used to simply call it as reports. Okay, now
Oh, I
if
see.
you tell anybody you do reports, then people think that yeah, I mean, that's a very basic job now. Yeah.
Mm.
So we will call it analytics, but it's all same. You're reporting data, presenting your data. Okay, so that meaningful decisions can be made. So RDBMS is essential here. Okay, so this analytics has seen lot of development. Okay, so it started as a very basic, reports where you can see how many items you have in your store, or how many customers you have, how many sales you made on a given day, like very basic reports. Okay, or if you're running a BPO, how many tickets are open, how many agents you have, how many tickets are carried forward from previous day to current day. Yeah, so those kind of
Okay.
reports, flow reports, or you can call them as printable reports or paginated reports. Yeah, your report runs into multiple pages. Yeah, you
Okay.
can see, you can print them, you can analyze them. Those were the reporting needs until we got robust in-memory analytics systems. In-memory analytics systems.
Ah, okay.
Call them as in-memory engine. Okay, so this has revolutionized the way analytics are made. Why? Why? Because I'll tell you shortly. Okay, so in-memory based analytics, the tools that are available in market right now are Tableau
Uh-huh.
is the leader. Okay, which is also I mean, Spotfire is not bad compared to Tableau. Spotfire is also very good analytics tool.
Okay.
Spotfire, then Power BI from Microsoft, very very quickly it is gaining popularity in the industry, or SAP HANA. This is more than just analytics. It also brings you hardware. Okay, and there are many ClickU, ThoughtSpot, there are many vendors now in the market. So what happens is, see, in any organization, data will be collected in different forms, right? So there would be some data lying on the files, some data on your portals or web systems, web applications, and enterprise solutions like SAP or anything, ERPs. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we can afford more than one ERP. So yeah, ERP systems. Just a minute. Hello. Yeah.
Yep,
So
I'm
what
here.
happens is, yeah, IT team will take care of moving all this data using a process called ETL into database. Okay. So now from here
A process
on, you
called
can.
what? Sorry, I didn't hear you there when you said that last thing.
Yeah, no problem. It's called ETL. Okay, there are tools for
ETL.
doing this. Yeah,
Okay.
short for extract, transform, and load. Extract data from multiple systems, apply any business transformations if needed, and then load into
Okay.
a central system. So this typically is called data warehouse, DWH, data warehouse, or data layer, or data mart, or ODS, operational data center. They can name it whatever they want, and depends upon the industry, organization. Okay. So now once you have data here, right, then you can go and do reporting. See how typically reports are. So
Can you move closer to your microphone? I'm having trouble hearing you.
okay, I think this is not adjusting properly. Okay, how is it now?
Now it's
Is it
better, but before it was very
okay?
quiet. So if you can
Yeah,
make sure your
yeah,
microphone stays close, that would be great.
yeah. Sure, sure. Okay, so see, when you develop a report, okay, so there's a report. Assume a report is deployed, and
Okay.
this is showing uh, some graphs and some data. Now, this is a sales report,
Okay.
month on month. Okay, so compared to last month, how did you perform this month? Was there any growth, or
Yeah.
your sales went down or moved up? Oh, okay. Now, while you are running this report, initially it will show you some data, okay, at an organization level. Then you have some parameters on this. You want to filter data on this report, okay. So you have a parameter for selecting branch. Okay, so branch wise, you want to analyze month on month sales. Okay, so when you select a branch and click view report, what happens?
When
You will
you,
make a
yeah.
request.
Mm-hmm.
You will make a request. Let's put these arrows here. You will make a request. Then you will get response. Make a request, then you get response, and for that selected branch, report will be refreshed or regenerated. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So this is typical report. This is how reports were working. I mean the back end of any report until in-memory analytics were introduced. So what happens every time somebody requests something? So this whole setup is at which side? This whole setup.
Okay.
The client side, right?
Okay.
It is requesting for this report from his own browser, right? And this is
Sorry, I'm just taking notes. Give me 1 second.
sure,
Okay.
sure. Or
So
you
you
can take
said,
screen.
yeah, I'll take some screen grabs as well, but I also like to write down what you're saying because I want to make sure I'm understanding, because I think I just learn better that way when I'm writing the discussion
Okay.
down itself. So the question was what? We talked about the client, and then you had another question after that.
Right. So from the client side, assume you are
Mm-hmm.
you are the client, okay? You are a branch manager. Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
You open this report on your browser, company URL you have opened up and selected the report, and now you want to see the performance of your branch. So you selected the
Right.
branch,
Okay.
then you submitted the request. So you will
That's right.
hit a button like view report or get report, right? Or submit, something like that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
a request sent to your
Oh, the server.
organization server, right?
Okay.
And that server processes the request and sends back the response. This is all happening over
The
internet.
network. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, right, right. This is all happening over internet. Now now this thing remains still the same. But now what we will do, we'll understand how this request is served. And that's where we'll see performance improvement. So now once the request is received, right? This request will directly go and hit from here, right? It will directly go hit database.
Mm-hmm.
And then with whatever data it gets, it again sends the data back as a response to the. So every time we are hitting the database directly, right? So what is your database? Where is it sitting? On a disk, right?
Okay.
So you are always reading and writing back to the, reading from the disk.
Okay.
Okay. Now this is okay. For some time this was okay, but when you have rigorous needs, okay, so you selected one branch. Now you are not a branch manager, okay, you are a zonal manager, okay, you have 10 or 15 branches under your zone, in your zone,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Now you want to view the data branch by branch, okay, or branch manager wise, or you have some more parameters like a product class, or a special promotion event that you want to select and see the analysis, or multiple
Mm-hmm.
parameters you are selecting and then posting back, and to and forth you are viewing the report. Every time you send a selection request, there is a lag,
Okay.
right?
Mm.
Where will be that lag? Not in the internet. See, uh, however speed your internet be or however optimized your report is, there will be still lag where here, because you are reading from a disk.
So
You
while the information is being pulled from the disk, that's the lag,
right,
correct?
right,
Okay.
right. That's where the lag is, and then the send. Okay. Now that you understood this, so what in-memory analytics does is it simply removes this dependency.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happens? The moment you open this, the first request when comes for this report, right? So
Uh-huh.
when you open this report, the first request will be sent to fetch that report. Actually, I didn't give the complete context here. So this request will not directly go and hit. It will go first hit the report server, and that report server will communicate with the database. Okay, the report will not directly communicate with database. If you have a MicroStrategy report, you will have a MicroStrategy report server here. If you have uh, there are many reporting tools out there, right? The MicroStrategy, um, Cognos from
Mm-hmm.
IBM, Crystal Reports, or SSRS from Microsoft, right? SQL Server reporting services. There are many reporting services available. So the on the one which you develop this report, so from that server, the request will be sent to the database. Okay, I have cut down that.
Okay, so because the memory is there in the analytics tool, there is no longer a need to consistently pull information from the database and report it and then put it
Yes,
back, right? Like the requesting and responding time is gone. Is that correct?
right, right, right.
Okay.
You're right. You got it very quickly.
Thank you. I
If
just
my
want to make sure I
explanation is
understand what you're saying so that you don't so I don't
okay,
lose
I
focus,
think
right?
yeah, yeah. I think my explanation is very uh, basic, I guess. You quickly got
But that's
this.
good. Actually, I need a basic explanation because I don't have any background in all of this, right? So it's better to explain it the easy way.
Right, nice. So now, as you said, yeah, rightly. So what happens is when the first request arrives, right, all the data is moved into RAM related to this report. Okay.
Okay.
And from here, all consecutive requests will be served. When you are reading something from RAM, it's very fast. It's very quick.
Okay.
Okay. Because you're not uh, now there are no IO input output operations. So see, if you go to the architecture level of computer, okay, hardware, anything you're reading from disk involves IO operations. Okay, IO operations, input output. How many records you can read or write per second. Right?
Uh-huh.
There's a constraint on that. Now, when you have data in the RAM, there is no concept of IO. Okay, so your RAM data is readily available, and you can fetch that data and serve the request. So that's why you have you heard about solid state drives, SSD?
No, I haven't.
Okay, okay. So now whatever the hard disks we have in your computer, they are all HDD, hard disk drives. Okay, so they
Okay.
are disk based. There will be literally disks revolving around. Okay, inside those hard disks. So you read data, rewrite data from those revolving disks. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, when you have solid state drive, these all are chips, RAM, temporary memory. So generally, we use this for temporary memory in your systems, like for booting or like we have. If you have a 500 GB hard disk, you'll have only 2 GB RAM in your local
Ah,
systems,
okay.
right? 2 GB RAM or 4 GB RAM. But that was when we had a limitation on the size of RAM. But now you can get RAM of 128 GB, 500 GB. Okay. So we have grown in that area. So now you can load so much of data into RAM. You can actually load entire data warehouse into RAM. Okay. Your
Uh-huh.
entire organization data warehouse can be of 1 GB, 10 GB. You can get it into RAM. And from there you can serve requests. Okay. So this is in-memory engine.
Okay. And because it's
Now,
in the RAM, you remove the constraint on input and output, right?
yes, exactly. You remove the constraint of reading and reading from the disk. Okay. And you also reduce the burden on the data warehouse. And you are now one layer nearer to your reporting systems, reporting requests. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and this in-memory engine, okay, is now part of this in-memory analytical tools. Your Spotfire has this, Tableau has this, QuickQ has this, SAP HANA has this. Okay. Now the earlier sales report, for every change in the branch, which used to go and get data from warehouse, was your traditional reporting systems like SSRS, Microsoft's SQL Server reporting services,
Okay.
or MicroStrategy. Since you are very new to this industry, you may not understand this tool names and all.
No.
Yeah, but still, see, yeah, when you log into your bank account and you pull the statement, right,
Yeah.
for last 3 months, you select 3 months and then you hit submit, you get the report, right? Now
Hmm.
you want to change the dates, or you want to select only credit transactions or debit transactions. You make the selection and again you hit view and then you get back the report, right?
Hmm.
So every time you change something there and you click the report, there is a lag. You have to wait some time and then the report comes. What
Huh?
if you now you go to any now you see Amazon e-commerce site, okay?
Huh?
There you go into purchasing shoes section and then you selected shoes section, so all the shoes are displayed. On the left side there will be filters, okay? You
Hmm.
select a particular size, immediately you see the options change, right?
Yep.
Selected options will appear, and again you select a price range, immediately you see the change in the options. There is no lag
Uh-huh.
there. It's instant, instantaneous, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that kind of feature is
Okay.
called point and click. Okay, you
Okay.
want something, you point and click, you get it. There is no lag.
Okay.
Okay, so now the analytics we do is of such kind. Okay, there is no lag. So all the branches that are available under that zone, maybe 10 branches, will be readily displayed there. Branch 1, branch 2, branch 3. You select any branch, immediately that branch data will appear on the report.
Yeah,
Like
I
a
see.
PowerPoint slide, yeah, like a PowerPoint slide, it instantly appears. You don't have to sit and wait. Now you understood, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what the power of in-memory analytics. So no, Spotfire is one such tool. You can make reports like that. You can point and click. You can do multi-select. Uh, uh, you can create and visually also you can make well good looking eye candy reports using this analytic tools. Okay.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
benefits are
So
the
the
point and click and the multiple selection as well as the visual benefit, right?
yes.
Okay.
Let's get back to Spotfire. Okay. So Spotfire has two things. People call with fancy names or actually Spotfire has two components,
Hmm.
primary components. Web server, app server.
Okay.
So people call this as kind. Recently I heard this thing like they also called something.
I'm having trouble hearing you again. I'm sorry. Can you get closer to your microphone?
Actually, I am closer to my microphone. I am speaking slow.
Okay,
So,
sorry.
yeah, web server or app server. So web server is something which takes direct client requests. Okay, so this is nothing got to do with Spotfire so far. Okay, so I'm just telling you in IT side. So web
Hmm.
server is something, both are part of your reporting server. Web server and app server both are part of your reporting server.
Okay.
So web server is more interfaced with the direct client requests. Okay, and app server is interfaced towards your database, data source, or data warehouse. Okay, so
Okay.
a request when it comes, first it is received by web server. Corresponding report is picked, relevant data source is analyzed, and for that data source, request is sent to app server. Then app server
Sorry.
breaks down.
Can you repeat that one more time? I didn't quite understand. You're saying a request comes through the web server and then what happens?
Right, no problem. So I will show you. After all, we are in analytics. Okay, so assume that this is your Spotfire server.
Okay.
or any analytics server. The Spotfire server. So the very basic thing is, in order to have a report, we need to have data first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is your data warehouse. Then the Spotfire server has two parts. Web player and server. So web player is called web server and server is
Okay.
called app server. Okay.
Okay.
So these requests, when they are coming from external world, they first hit your web player, and response will also come from web player.
Okay.
Also comes from web player. Now this web player in turn will send those requests to server. And server will give response to the web player. And from server, request goes to, this is how it is architected, okay? And comes back to the server. Okay, so this is how it works. This is your enterprise structure. Okay, in enterprise server side, your Spotfire server is installed, a web player for handling front-end request, and then a server for managing yours. Okay, now where do we develop Spotfire reports?
Okay.
Not here. None of these tools. We have
Okay.
some another tool called client. Spotfire client.
Ah, okay.
They have web-based also, web-based desktop or web for developers. We no more call them as developers, because now the report are not developed by actual developers. They are developed by analysts who understand business and have domain knowledge. Okay, so we call them now analysts. Now the developer work is now more on web player and server and warehouse side. Okay, that's where this analytics are moving towards.
Say
Earlier,
that again.
developers
That last sentence. Say that one more time
yeah.
about that where analytics are moving towards.
Actually, now earlier what happens was your reports analytics were also developed by developers, IT developers. Now
Okay.
it's not the trend. Now business analysts, domain specialists, okay, or process or SMEs, they are making analytics who understand business and
Okay.
data. Okay, so that's why now we call them analysts, analysts, not analytics. Okay, we
Okay.
call
Okay.
them for analysts. Okay, so the developer role is now confined to only working on Spotfire server side, your web player configuration, server maintenance, and then warehouse building or proper data model building. Okay, in some organization, even developers are creating analytics also, but you will not get good analytics if developer is making this, because developer never understands business. Okay.
Okay.
If you
Okay.
understanding business, then they become architects.
So then
Okay,
I have a
so
question before we continue, right? So you know how you were talking about the example of the sales report for like a branch manager, right? So then what that guy will do is he will request certain information from the Spotfire web player, right?
Right.
And then the Spotfire
Right.
web player will talk to the Spotfire server, and then the server will
Right.
talk to the database, and then
Right.
that will provide a response. Is that how that works?
Yes. Yes. You're right.
Okay. And then this
So now
desktop
moving
web
on.
client, you'll tell me how that works, right? Okay.
Right. So now moving. I mean, now once you develop report, what you will do? You have to deploy that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that deployment you will do in Spotfire server. So you'll deploy to Spotfire server that report. Okay. So whatever the report you develop, so that will
Uh-huh.
be. So the extension for this report, so whatever the Spotfire report that we develop, right? So that is called DXP. Extension is DXP. So we call report file also as DXP. The name given is
Okay.
DXP.
Mm-hmm.
Hear a lot about like DXP. It's because it's an extension of the reporting file. So that
Okay.
report file you will deploy to server, right? So while developing, you will connect to database system. You create a report. You review it. You finalize, and everything is fine. Then you deploy it to server. Now, when somebody requests for that report, web player will send that request to the server. Server will pull the data, and then again via web player sends it back to the. So now all this process when is happening, right? When the server pulls the data, it will actually put it into a RAM. Yeah, that's where in-memory engine comes, right?
Okay.
So your initial load, the first time load will be slow. Why? Why? Because it literally gets everything that this report is related to. So in this report, if you are using branch, it will pull all the branches. You can't restrict. I mean, you can, but that's not the concept of in-memory analytics. On
Yeah.
this report, you also are showing promotional data. So it will bring all the promotional types. On this report, you're also showing vendor information from which vendor you're getting those products. Okay, it will pull all the
Mm.
vendors and readily keep it in the RAM. You want it, you don't want it, you want to see it, it doesn't matter. Out of 14 branches, you may be interested in analyzing only 3 or 4 branches at this point in time, but it will make available all 14 branches data at the back end. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but you have that's a trade-off, right? Initial load time, but the
Yep.
advantage, the plus side is your further analysis, next analysis, right, is very fast, very quick.
Yeah.
There's no delay. Right? So you can first leave it for loading, go get the coffee, and then start analysis.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how it works. So this is fine, right? So you understood the structure and all. So now what I'll do is actually the system doesn't have Spotfire client or anything set up. Okay. So what I did, I went to Spotfire server, Spotfire website and downloaded Spotfire client,
Okay.
trial client. Fill this form, and then it'll give you two options. Um, what you have to search for? You have to search for download Spotfire desktop. Open the
So
first one.
sorry, let me just tell you one thing before we continue. I have the Spotfire software on my computer already because my company allows me to download the full version. So I don't
Oh,
need
that's
the
nice.
trial version. But if you need to get the trial version for the purposes of the class, I can
No,
hold on while you
have the
do
full
that.
version. Have the full version. Okay.
Okay, good.
That trial is also. But what is the version of that?
Of mine,
Yeah.
let me see. TIBCO Spotfire. How do I check the version on this thing? Let
Open
me
the client
see.
and go to help or help and or about.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm opening it now. Then once I'm inside, it'll tell me. Just give
Yeah,
me
yeah.
1 second.
So I have to do this installation and all, but again it will take some time, and so I just wanted to show you. So when this client opens up, this is like any other reporting client, so you can pull the data, create the reports. Okay, so